For a few seconds, it was just smoke, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. It was just a lot of smoke coming out, and then all of a sudden there was a burst of flames, and you could hear the floor fall. And the firefighter started to comment and started to yell about how there was how the floor had fell, and then it was just kind of chaos after that.
A massive fire in downtown Buffalo this morning. Our team coverage continues this midday. Right now, Buffalo firefighters are battling a 4-alarm fire in downtown Buffalo that's sending thick smoke throughout the city. This is a live look right now. The fire is at 747 Main Street. That's on Main Street, just north of Tupper. We've seen white, gray, even black smoke for the past hour, even some flames shooting through the roof. The DC Theatrics business is listed at this address, again, 747 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. The building is 3 stories tall. It's a company that rents out professional theatrical costumes. They serve many of our local theaters and high schools for their performances. And this is video we've captured over the last hour. You can see that thick gray smoke over downtown. 2 on your sides, Keelan Berrien is there at the fire. Keelan, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Kelly. Yes, out here on Main Street, dozens of emergency crews are out here trying to fight this fire, which witnesses say it started at the bottom of this DC Theatrics building here. So I'm gonna step out of the way so you guys can take a great look. And I do want to apologize if you hear any vulgar language because things are getting a little intense out here. But as you can see, smoke is filling the air all around downtown Buffalo. When I spoke to a few witnesses, they say they noticed the smoke, but took a while to see flames. In fact, they say once flames break through, it made a boom sound. Minutes later, part of the building collapsed. But what witnesses saw, one witness saw, this is what he's had to say, being one of the first witnesses at the scene.
For a few seconds, it was just smoke, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. It was just a lot of smoke coming out, and then all of a sudden there was a burst of flames, and you could hear the floor fall. There was a sound like of the fire sort of bursting out of the window, and then you could hear the out of the front windows there, and then you could hear the floor fall. Yeah.
All right, Kelly, and we have to rush. All right, Kelly, well, we have to rush here because emergency crews are telling everyone to back up here for safety purposes. We still don't know the determination of what caused this fire behind us, but later on tonight we can tell you a little bit more. But reporting in downtown Buffalo, Keelan Berrien, Channel 2 News.
All right, thank you, Keelan. Get to a safe spot. Now, the smoke could be seen for miles and can still be seen for miles this morning. We have sped up this video to make it a bit easier to see that movement. This is a look from our casino cam in Niagara Falls. You can see the smoke drifting over the city of Buffalo and then over Lake Erie. Here's another look from 2 NITAC traffic cameras this morning. The one on the left is from the 33 at Oak and East Tupper. The other's also from the 33 between Oak and Jefferson. You can see that thick white smoke billowing out of, again, 747 Main Street. That's a theater costume company on Main Street in downtown Buffalo. The fire started at DC Theatrics at 747 Main around 10 o'clock this morning. That's between Goodell and Tupper, down the street from St. Louis Roman Catholic Church. You can see on the map just how it's situated there in case you were wondering. That's another view from one of our tower cameras in downtown Buffalo. We noticed the smoke around 10 o'clock this morning coming from the 700 block of Main Street. That's, again, we just learned, a 4-alarm fire. Everybody responding, Buffalo firefighters, for a little more than an hour now. Massive fire in downtown Buffalo. So if you have plans to come to downtown Buffalo, just be aware that there are probably a lot of street closures. At this point, we don't have the exact street closures for you just yet, but our Keelan Berrien and Dave McKinley have been there for at least the past half hour. We heard from Dave about a half an hour ago, and he told us that he could see some of the costumes inside of the building that had burned. He told us it looked like an older building. Keelan told us earlier that part of the building had collapsed, and you just heard Keelan say that they were telling the media to get farther away from the fire because firefighters have to be able to do their work, and they need room to do their work. They need to be able to stay safe. After that fire is put out, we should learn more information, but they're busy doing their jobs right now, and they've also got to make sure this fire doesn't spread to any other buildings in downtown Buffalo. Again, if you're just joining us for midday, Our coverage is continuing this hour of a big fire that broke out in downtown Buffalo around 10 o'clock this morning. Right now, Buffalo firefighters are battling this 4-alarm fire that's sending thick smoke throughout the city. We saw flames shooting through the roof of that building at one point. It's either a 3- or a 4-story building that houses a costume company, DC Theatrics, in downtown Buffalo. It has thousands of costumes that it rents out to theater companies and high schools all across Western New York for their productions. This is a live look. Again, it's at 747 Main Street. That is on Main, just north of Tupper. We're going to check in with our Dave McKinley, who's been there. Dave, what can you tell us?
Well, Kelly, we're reporting to you from the Washington Street side, or the east side of the building. You take a look behind me, you can see some of the aerial trucks working, trying to knock down what's left of the flames, which keep cropping up from time to time. In fact, there are 4 aerial trucks working on these 2 sides, the east and north sides of the building. Now, I can tell you, Kelly, that I just got off the phone with the owner of the building. The owner of the building is Chris Jacobs, the former congressman. He tells me he purchased this building back in December, that the only tenant was the costume shop in the front. He was hoping to redevelop this building. He told me that they believed a wall of it was damaged in the recent earthquake, believe it or not, and that they were doing some work in there. We're not clear if they were doing work today, but according to the building's owner, Chris Jacobs, the former congressman who purchased it in December, he says that no one was hurt, as far as he knows, in the fire thus far. And of course, that is coming from the building owner. I talked to him by phone. He's in Washington, D.C. right now, but he had heard about the fire and had been in touch with the fire department. So that's the looks of things here as they continue to work with aerial trucks to try and knock down what is burning inside this old structure. By the way, Chris Jacobs also told me he owns all the buildings, 4 or 5 of them to the south of here as well, and he had purchased this one in December as part of his plans to redevelop and improve it somehow. So Kelly, that's the word from here right now.
All right, so new information from Dave McKinley. Thank you, Dave. Just to go over that once again, Chris Jacobs, a former congressman, owns that chunk of buildings, 745 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. Here's another view of what's happening right now with this massive fire on Main Street in downtown Buffalo. From a drone, you can see just how far that smoke is billowing and how many people that's impacting. We can smell it here in the studio. Patrick, I talked to him just a few minutes ago, and he said the wind is, blowing this way. So that's why we can smell it here in the studio. We do know about some street closures that we can share with you right now. We found out this information just a few minutes ago. You can see Main Street there clearly impacted. That is closed to traffic around the Theater District. The 700 block of Main at least is closed. And cars are being diverted around the area as firefighters continue to do their work. Again, a 4-alarm fire at 747 Main Street in downtown Buffalo. It's a costume shop, and the building was just purchased by Chris Jacobs, who is revitalizing that area of downtown Buffalo.